why taking responsibility for yourself as a sensitive person unlocks your ability to have healthy relationships regardless of whatever happens in your life. Hi, my name is Leah Chantel, and today I'm talking about taking personal responsibility. For all the problems that are going on in the world, it's not just the relationship problems we're struggling with as a society. We're realizing that many countries are having problems with inflation. We're having problems with our relationship to the government, whether you like the government or you dislike the government. There always seems to be a divide of people who agree or don't agree. And interestingly enough, these larger community relationships also dovetail into our personal relationships because there's a lot of mistrust going on. It's like in straight couples, men and women really don't trust each other. They have opposite intentions or opposite biological needs according to whoever's opinion you subscribe to. And then the political situation, the government's at odds with its people. The government wants more and more money from the people. Or if they don't want money, they want more and more control from the people, or it could be both. And there's this lack of trust, and people are struggling to get along with each other. And I saw this art piece by Yoko Ono once when I was in high school, and I loved it. And what it was a chessboard, and all it had was white pieces on it, and it said, "Play it by trust." And that's exactly what we have to do in our relationships if we're going to have any chance of success in our personal or professional relationships. And it's really hard because as sensitive people, we're the type of people who self-reflect. We want to do our best and we want to give everything that we have and not leave anything on the table. And yet we come across people who want to give less, who don't want commitment and just want to have their biological needs met. And what are we supposed to do with that as sensitive people? They can wear really convincing masks and mimic that they're like us, but really they want what they want at the end of the day. And it's the same with government. They can wear their masks too and say that they're trying to help us, the people. But in the end, they're trying to serve their own needs. How do we deal with that as sensitive people? Well, the first lesson that you need to understand is we can't try to avoid that situation. That seems to be the gut reaction that a lot of logical people will do. It's like, oh, if I'm going to get hurt in a serious committed relationship, then I just won't have any committed relationship. Or if the government is not going to do what I want them to do and I don't like my country, I'm just not going to vote. And the problem with these kinds of approaches that are so common is that you take yourself out of the game. Like, for example, if you live in a democracy and you don't vote, then you just basically live like you would live where you're not allowed to vote. And it's the same with relationships. If you don't take that opportunity to date and get to know people, you're never going to have that opportunity to grow. You might as well be somebody just trying to get their biological needs met in a way because you're not putting any effort out there in order to get to know new people and relate to them. And when we have disappointment, the important thing is that we learn from it and we take responsibility for it. So what does taking responsibility mean? That means being aware of every little mistake. We like to tell our stories like we're the ones that are right. And to a certain extent, we have a right to do that. We can really put on rose-colored glasses and say boo-hoo, and it's okay to have empathy from other people who want to support us. But we also have to look at the relationship math. What little move did we make? And this kind of math is not like regular math where it's very obvious that 2 + 2 = 4. In relationships, one move that might be a plus in one relationship could be a minus in another relationship. And different people will give different advice because it completely depends on your culture and who you're relating to. There are certain schools of relationship theory that say you shouldn't talk about commitment at all. You should just be very easygoing and let things go organically. And I can subscribe to that to a certain extent. But what if you come from a very specific culture or religion where you're expected to get married and your family is putting pressure on you to do so? What do? Do you cut out your parents because they're putting pressure on you to get married? It kind of depends. Maybe you love your parents and you want to follow what they want for you, even if it's sabotaging your personal relationships. And in that case, you also have to own that too. Hey, I want a commitment. Hey, I want this kind of future. This is what my family believes in. And even if I'm behind the times or whatever, I'm going to go with it because that's what I feel that I want authentically, and that's not wrong either. We all have different perspectives on relationships, and all we can really do is connect to our authentic self and decide where we're at on that spectrum and unconditionally love ourselves for wherever we're at on that spectrum, and it can change. I know for me, I felt a shift recently because I saw a really close friend of mine getting married, and I was so happy for her, and it made me rethink about how I want to talk about commitment in any relationships going forward. I've always been the type to be very relaxed and not bring it up first. Well, now I'm still not necessarily saying you should put it out there too early, too fast. If you're really getting along with someone, sooner or later you are going to share your dreams with them. Sooner or later you are going to have those challenging discussions. And if you can't have those challenging discussions at some point, and I don't advise doing it too soon or nagging or bringing it up in a really belligerent way, but if you can't speak at all, there comes to be a point where that feels quite suffocating. And even if you break up, after you've spoken up, you feel better speaking up because at least you were true to yourself, At least you can own and take responsibility that, hey, I did ask for that commitment and that person wasn't interested, and that's where I'm at. And I'm really glad that I advocated for myself, As long as we take responsibility for wherever we're at on the spectrum, we reflect on what we've said. We reflect on what happened in the relationship or why we broke up. Sometimes we break up because the other person's incredibly insecure and they're making a lot of mistakes in their life too. And that's something, as sensitive people, we can't really control. If people choose to self-destruct because they're scared of a serious relationship or they're scared of the future that you might have together, you can't really do that much. Once they cross enough boundaries, at some point you have to draw the line in order to protect yourself and forgive them and let them go. And the art of letting go might mean you work on projects that are important to you, that you work on goals that you're committed to, or you spend time with friends and family who matter to you. Whatever it is, those things should move you forward as a sensitive and give you a fulfilling life, whether or not you do have a partner sharing your life with you.